Nyonyi Ntono. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra, which is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. Now, Good Morning Uganda kicks off at exactly 6:30 every weekday, so you can't afford to miss a very interesting program. So much laughter here and there, yet very informative, because we make sure you start your day a very informed person, looking at what is happening locally, and also we look at what is happening internationally. So you enter a day a very informed person. Make it a date with us, 6:30 every weekday. The Fantastic Four, and of course a very big team behind the cameras and the technical beat that ensure we appear the way you see us, to bless, to start, to ignite your morning. Now, this morning, I have a guest whom I find very relevant when it comes to fighting youth unemployment. And I have the Managing Director of Tweweza Impact, and that is S Katumba, with whom we are going to be discussing a number of issues regarding youth and entrepreneurship to ensure that we can fight that is unemployment amongst the youth, which happen to be the biggest population that our country has, with so much potential, yet little has been tapped into this group of people to ensure they live to the fullness of their potential. Katumba, welcome to our studios.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, and now just to have better understanding of the gentleman I have in studios, to my viewers, when we talk about that is Wezesha, if I pronounce it right, I'm not very good in Swahili. Is this a non-governmental organization? What do you stand for? What do you do?
Yes, thank you so much. So Wezesha Impact is a non-government organization that I and a few colleagues founded in 2013. The journey to co-founding was actually longer, but seriously we started in 2013. A little bit about me. I am originally a teacher by profession, a teacher of economics, geography, commerce. And one of the things that did happen to me when I was still teaching is I would teach and I would see young people are not taking the concepts of commerce and to start businesses, or the concepts of economics to start businesses. So then we asked ourselves, how can we actually take what we know and help young people to start enterprises? So we co-founded Wezesha Impact to do one thing, to equip young people with the skills, tools, and networks for them to be able to start enterprises, and that way be an avenue for increasing job creation in this country. What we stand for the fact that young people have so much potential. If they receive the right support, they themselves can solve the problem of unemployment in their community, and we are there to walk the journey with young people as they tackle the unemployment issue by starting enterprises.
Now, let's be more specific. You talked about helping young people. And today we see so many people come up and they say, we are here to help young people. Yeah. We are here to nurture young people into fulfilling their purpose and moving into their destiny. How do you do this?
Yeah. So there are 6 steps that we take, and these are not steps that we invented. These are steps that were actually come from like really well-grounded research. They are steps that have been actually generated by knowledge created from experiences of peers. Now, that is one thing that I would like to say. Many times we like to assume we are the experts and others don't know. No, I would like to say that we believe that as a group, we can always learn from each other. Step number 1 is identify the right type of youth you're going to work with. We cannot solve the problems of all the youth. We can only help very specifically a certain group of youth that fit within and are aligned with the mission that we have. So we identify young people. And what Wezesha Impact has done is to align ourselves. We have partnered with 100 vocational training centers in this country because we believe vocational training centers are a pool of young people that are ready to be entrepreneurs. So we align with vocational training centers, east, north, central of this country, and we identify young people in those vocational training institutes. We then train those young people on what it is to start a business when they are still in vocational training. So the vocational training schools are doing the technical things. For us, we are saying, can you start a business club when you're still in the vocational school? So for a full year, they learn how to start, they learn how to fail, and then they learn how to restart again, such that by the time they graduate, they've had an experience. You know, graduates usually ask, you ask me for experience, where is the experience? So we are actually working with young people to give them experience.
Now, let me get you right. You talked about they're in technical schools.
Yeah.
Are you the ones that foot the bill? Do you go to these technical schools and find these students already there? Then also, how do you do this teaching of how to succeed, how to fail? Are you part of teachers in this school?
Yeah.
You know, it seems more clarity.
Yeah. So we do not pay fees for any of the young people to attend technical schools. We find them already there. We find them already there. And then we have a conversation with the center and say, you have young people here, you are doing a wonderful job, but there is this additional gap that you are not addressing that we could actually work with you. So the centers actually provide us with time. And we send in our staff members who collaborate with patrons that are already teachers there. So we are not members of staff, but we are partners of the centers. And the young people, we find them there already. The young people do not pay to participate in our programs. We fundraise for the activities. We fundraise to pay our staff members, but the young people do not pay us. The vocational schools do not pay us. However, the service that we bring is a complementary service to the education system to make it even more practical and technical.
That's a good idea, but it brings me to another question.
Yeah.
I've seen various professors of business, of commerce, not even owning a kiosk. Now, we've learned that you can only give what you have. If you are to talk about Wezesha
yes.
Impact, do you have something that you can say what you're passing on, actually you've applied it and it is working? Because the problem we find is people knowing what to do to get rich, and they can pass that on to others.
But they can't do it.
But they can't do it.
Yeah.
And this is what sometimes our students do not understand, do not take certain things serious, because if you know what it takes to be rich, you know what it takes to start a business, how many businesses do you have? Yes.
Yeah. So there are two parts to this question that you've asked. One is the part of we, as the people that run the organization Wezesha Impact. What is our experience in running anything?
Up businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would like to start by even just Wezesha itself. Wezesha is a non-profit enterprise, okay? That we had to start from scratch. The things that you need to do to start a non-profit enterprise are the same things you need to do to start a business. Only the motivations are different. So when people ask me, what have you done? I say, you know what? We created the vision of Wezesha Impact and started it from nothing, mobilized resources, mobilized staff members, identified a gap and fulfilled that gap. Those are the things, and sustained it for 10 years now. Over the 10 years, we have employed more than 100 people collectively. Not all of them are with us. Some have gone, some are with us. But collectively, this is what enterprises do. So when people ask, what have you done? I usually say that Wezesha Impact is the first evidence of what it means to identify an opportunity and then do something about it, which is what business is. However, I have also been, and my staff members as well, are all encouraged to be in enterprises. So I've also been part of other businesses. My family has been in the coffee business for over 50 years, that is over half a century. but they had never tasted how our coffee from Bukoma and Simbi tastes. So my siblings and I started Tasty Kawa, which is a coffee roasting, coffee aggregation, coffee roasting, and coffee marketing business. My parents, when my parents were teachers, when they retired, we sat down as a family and said, okay, what do we do? So we actually do run a primary school in Bukoma and Simbi in memory of our grandmother, Louis Junior School. And this school has been there for 13 years. And we can go on and on about the enterprises. And there's one enterprise I would like to encourage young people to participate in. When we talk about enterprises, everyone is telling you to start your own thing. You don't always have to start your own thing. Not everyone is made to start, and we need to start recognizing that. However, you can invest in businesses without you having to be the one that has started it. And there's a big opportunity there. So one of the things that I and my co-founders actually do is look for business opportunities out there that we can invest in, whether it is on the stock market globally. I know when you talk of the stock market locally, people say it is inactive, so I say globally, or whether it is finding people with potential enterprises here. We've seen businesses here come from nothing and start. And someone says, oh, I saw them starting, and now they are big. Yes, you saw them starting, you did not invest, you missed an opportunity. So even if you can't start, can you find a way to identify those around you that are real entrepreneurs and you invest in them?
Well, you're still watching UBC TV, and we are looking at fighting unemployment amongst the youth. Now, one of the things that also is very interesting, I've attended away from my own graduation, number of graduations, and there is this thing, you've been trained, equipped with skills, go out and be job creators, not job seekers. To those in technical institutions, one would believe that they have acquired skills. But when they leave, even the skills they have, many of them need equipment. More so with the world going global, modernity. Every day now, sometimes there's technology, there's a gadget you need to purchase. The way they used to make doors with a lander and all that is now old-fashioned, even just painting, you know. Now, so how then do these people, because there's an assumption that whoever goes to a technical institution or vocational education will come out a star and they know what to do. But then they also need startup capital.
Yes.
How then do they address this challenge?
Yeah. So that is true. Like I said, there are 6 steps we follow, and I've only mentioned 2. The first one was identify them, and the second one is train them. The third step is, after you've trained these potential entrepreneurs, is to really connect and sustain them. And by connect and sustain, it means, 1, connect them to peers, so that the peers who are really starting out and succeeding, so they have a peer network. In Uganda here, we have a wonderful peer network called the Kwagalana Group. Rich men that have actually connected themselves to each other. You cannot survive here without connections anywhere in the world.
Very true.
So connecting and sustaining them. And this is where the role of incubators comes in, and accelerators. And we are happy that we have incubators and accelerators coming up within the country, but we need more. There is need for more, so that you actually have these communities that are providing motivation for the young people to continue. But after connecting and sustaining them, you need to fund them, which comes back to your question. And there is no single enterprise that has grown without getting funding that is appropriate for them. And I would like to use that term, funding that is appropriate for the particular enterprise, because there are multiple funding types. The most popular one is go to a bank. That is the most popular one. When you tell people, go look for finance, what comes to them is go to a bank. I wouldn't advise anyone to go to a bank for startup capital. From my own experience, I would advise people to go to a bank for expansion capital. You've proven the business will work. You are certain about if you put in 1 shilling, you will get 1.5 shillings. Then at that point, go to the bank. Why? Because the bank deals with certainty. The bank tells you you're taking 1,000, you will bring back 1,300. Full stop. Whether your 1,000 becomes 800, you have to bring back 1,300. The bank deals with certainty. Starting an enterprise is full of uncertainty. So it is only after you start getting some form of certainty that I would say go to the bank. However, there are other forms of finance. I'll go to the second most popular one in Uganda, which is grants from government. We have all these programs. I think the popular one now is parish development model, but we've had the youth fund, we've had the women's fund, we've had multiple funds. I will not go into the reasons why those funds are not performing the way we think they should have performed, at least in my opinion. But it is an important source of capital. And those who know how to use those funds appropriately, that don't mix politics with business, can actually benefit a lot from them. The third most popular form of capital is friends and family. We all know people that have really started out because of friends and family. And you see, Ugandans, sometimes when someone succeeds, they talk about it negatively. They say, that one is successful because of the father. I wish we wouldn't look at it that way and talk about it with a negative angle.
And even though, because there are three forms in which wealth is made. You either make it, inherit it,
exactly,
or marry into it. So basically those are three principles of making wealth.
Exactly.
You work hard and make money, you inherit from your father, from your uncle, or you marry into wealth. And if you have proper managing skills, definitely you're there.
Exactly, if you have proper managing skills. Because even when you inherit it or marry into it, you still have to make sure that you are able to multiply it. Okay, so friends and family is really an amazing way to collect capital. And people say, well, I don't have family that has that money, but everyone has the ability to build friends. The only problem is that as a country, we still have a lot of mistrust. Because people have been burnt. People have invested in friends' businesses, and the friends, unfortunately, were only thinking of well, let me put it this way. You catch a tilapia. You have been used to silverfish, and then you catch a tilapia, and you think you have arrived, not knowing that beyond tilapia, there is also the Nile perch. And beyond the Nile perch, there is the shark, and beyond the shark, there is the whale. There are always these bigger fish that you can catch. So people have been burnt because they have worked with someone, they've gone from a really small enterprise, it has got somewhere, and this someone thinks they have arrived and then starts misusing the money. But in terms of the question, going back to the core of the question, young people need capital. Yes, it is true. Young people need capital, and this is where friends, families, incubators, microfinance institutions, banks, government come in, and we need to work to support these young people to start their enterprises.
Well, indeed, supporting these young people, one of the things I always find funny in my country is it is very easy for people to fundraise for a funeral. It's very easy for people to give you money for a wedding, an introduction, and these other things. Just form a group and people will begin giving money. But it's very hard for people to say, our brother is not doing fine, let's fundraise something for him to start life. You know, so-and-so completed, he has the skills, but he needs capital. Let's do this for our colleague so that he can financially be stable or move into the money economy. I find that very hard for our country. And even these groups you've talked about, many of them, I must say, they are not good in charity and things like that. You'll find them in case of weddings, these occasions, they'll give and contribute. But when it comes to certain things, that's why I want to commend our government. There are a certain number of initiatives aimed at actually giving people startup capital. But the challenge has been the usual: corruption, mismanagement, and others. However, we still have those that tell testimonies of how these programs have elevated them and transformed their lives. I'll go for a break. When I return, I'm still with my guest, and we are still looking at how best we can fight youth unemployment in this lovely part of Africa.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
The Resol Agribusiness Show is here under the theme Revolutionizing Agriculture through Value Addition, Innovation and Technology, scheduled for 13th to 16th June 2023 at Ruhinga Stadium for Portrait Tourism City, with a free medical camp running throughout the show. Entrance is totally free. To sponsor, partner and participate, contact 0702 301 059 or 0773 458-492 or 0773-301-059.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome from that break, and thank you so much for being with us here on UBC TV. It is Good Morning Uganda Extra, and in case you've just joined, I'm Robert Cheragonyonyitono with my guest James Katumba from Wezeshe Impact, with whom we are discussing unemployment. How best can we fight unemployment in our country? And he says, well, they have 7 models to which they are addressing this challenge. We must accept Uganda is one of the countries in the world that has among those the fastest growing population, of which majority of the population happen to be youth. And now what does this mean? A big youthful population is very healthy for any nation if properly planned for and utilized. But still, a big population dominated by youth is a time bomb and a danger to a nation if not properly utilized and seen to their full potential as far as achieving a better defined destiny for them. Now, this is what we are trying to look at. Now, Katumba, when we talk about giving these youth skills, still one of the things I've noticed is many businesses that start in this country do not live to see their first birthday. If you go to the Registration Bureau of Companies, URSB, if you go to Kasita, Uganda, that is the body that brings together traders, both Kampala and S Kasita, Uganda, one thing they will tell you, that yes, you look at these arcades, in case we have to go to maybe any other forms away from technical work. They'll tell you, yes, this arcade, that particular shop, by the end of 5 years, you'll find maybe 20 people have been there. One comes, fails, goes away. The other comes, rents that place, fails, goes away. The other goes away like that, or extend to suburbs, then later they give up. Companies, if you're to go at URSB and you hear so-and-so construction, so-and-so construction, look at them within 5 years. How many are still standing? And that's a big challenge. These monies you're talking about getting from groups, microfinances, when you go to most of these circles of youth, After a period of time, you look at them, someone will tell you, "May I broke off. We started, we were 20. Oli agenda oba kati akolera wa. This one, bakolera wa." You just see that.
So it is normal for businesses to start and fail. Let us first agree that that is normal. And for anyone out there who is starting an enterprise, they should be aware that there is a probability you will start and you will fail. Failing is a result of multiple things. It could be a result of the market did not need your products or services. But it could also be a result of you ran out of cash, or it could be a result of you mismanaged the enterprise. So there's a lot there. But I'd like to go to one of the things that this country has. People start businesses mostly for two things, two reasons. Two motivations, let me not say two reasons, two motivations. There are those that are called necessity entrepreneurs and those that are called opportunity entrepreneurs. Now, as a country, we mostly have necessity entrepreneurs. I am starting an enterprise because I have to survive. It is necessary for my survival. That is what is called necessity enterprises. And that is the majority that we have. And then there are those that start enterprises because they have seen a specific opportunity and they are driven by innovation, they are driven by creating something new. And those are the fewer ones that we have in this country. And because the country has mostly people who are starting so they can get food for tomorrow, the businesses do not usually get time for them to be able to grow before they can actually start sustaining someone. Somebody starts a business today, and at the end of the month, they have to take out a salary from that business. They do not have enough running capital. So we should actually put a lot of respect on entrepreneurs that start here and are able to survive for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, because our environment is not really primed for supporting these necessity entrepreneurs. Which brings me to the next 2 steps. I said that there are 6 steps, which brings me to the next 6 actions that actually have to be taken in supporting enterprises. And the 5th action is regulation and enabling. And this is fully a function of government. And we in the non-profit sector and other enterprise support organizations can only really add to government in doing regulation and enabling. When it comes to regulation and enabling, we are talking about the ease of doing business. Uganda has made progress in ease of doing business, but there is still so much more that can be done. Here, if you want to, I think sometime back, if you wanted to start a business, it will take you over a month to register. Now it takes you a week to register. But there are countries in our neighborhood where it takes you a day to register. So ease of doing business is something that really government, I'm happy it's working on it and is doing something. That is part of, for example, regulation and enabling. There is providing incentives. Okay, when you start, do you have the incentives? And the incentives are there, but I would like to say, government, please kindly do a better job at popularizing these incentives. People think that the incentives only go to foreign investors. Why? Because the foreign investors come in and they have time to research what are the incentives. The foreign investor will come here and go to a big law firm, and the big law firm will be able to advise them on all the incentives they can take advantage of. Me from Bukoma and Simbi, I don't know a law firm. I haven't seen I don't even know where Uganda Investment Authority is. I don't know where to start. So kindly government departments popularize the incentives for local people to take advantage of them. So when it comes to regulation, ease of doing business, incentives, policies, that is really an action that has to be taken to ensure that we have a higher survival rate. The 6th action that has to be taken is celebrating of those who succeed genuinely. Celebrating of those who succeed genuinely. Unfortunately, we are in a country where failure stories thrive more than success stories in all aspects. When a person dies, that is more important than when a person is born. Basically, death is like I've exited. When a marriage breaks down, we talk about the broken down marriage rather than the marriage that has been there for 40 years, 50 years. When a business collapses, they say, that person thought they would succeed. And we talk about that more instead of really focusing our aim at those who are actually making it and succeeding. I would like us to move away from, as a country, from waiting for people to fail to celebrating those who are progressing. And the importance of celebrating those who are progressing is that success stories inspire. I'll talk about a small country. When I say Jamaica, what sports do you think of? Running. Jamaica is a country of only 12 million people, but it has the highest concentration of world champions when it comes to running 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, both in males and females. When you talk of fastest man, Usain Bolt. Fastest woman, Shelly Ann. Why? Why Jamaica with only 12 million people? Because they are celebrating that particular success story of runners. Uganda here, what happened when we had, I think it was, for a long time it was a Kibua, but then when we had, I think it was Kipsiro, all of a sudden, from our Mount Elgon region in the east, you started having more and more people that believe in themselves. The same concept applies to business. If we start celebrating from county level, not just at national level, there are business people there from county level to district level to regional level to national level. People that have succeeded, those are the people that we should celebrate. I can tell you, I don't know the status of Wavamuno's businesses, but Wavamuno is one of the people that has inspired many others like him. I don't know the status of Mulwana's businesses today, but along the way they were celebrated and they have really, really inspired others. Wezesha Impact, the story of Wezesha Impact is really about being inspired. When I joined an organization in 2008, and my boss, I was 28 years old. My boss was a 22-year-old American. So I would sit down and say, this young American is employing all of us. How? Within 5 years, I had started Wezesha Impact. I was inspired by someone. I saw someone doing it, and because I saw someone doing it, I was able to also start something. And this is something that is important. So the 6 actions, to summarize.
I must let you go in the interest of time, but just summarize.
Yeah, so the 6 actions, really, we need as a country in supporting young entrepreneurs to do identification, training, okay, connecting and sustaining, funding, ensuring there is a wonderful regulatory environment, and then celebrating those who succeed genuinely.
Well, I love those 6 steps, and I hope that there's someone there that make things be, watching and addressing and changing the perspective that it's not only about giving out money, because government has given out money to a number of groups, but if we do not have these 6 steps really planned for, then we may not get to our destination. But as I let you go, what is your advice? You have so many youth that are jobless, they are qualified, they are on the streets. Many do not have practical skills, by the way, because not all have gone through technical institutions. But they knew that once I go through education, I'll get a job. And there is nothing like an educated, unemployed person, desperate, at least one who never went to school, hustles and believes sasoma. This one believes there must be someone there, because I have a document here that will employ me and I'll start life. 5 years, 6 years, nothing seen.
So honestly, the number of jobs we create compared to the number of jobs that are needed is little. So in this country, we have to advise young people, yes, jobs exist, but really you have to be extremely competitive or extremely connected to get these jobs. Now, in the case that you've actually failed to get a job, don't give up. It is important that you don't lose hope as number one. And secondly, it is important that you actually start thinking about how do I start solving a problem for somebody else. That is the easiest way to identify ways to start lifting yourself. Ask yourself, who out there has a problem and how can I solve that problem for them? The easiest way to really put yourself to use and get paid is to come to James Katumba and realize he has this problem, and that might mean researching me, talking to me. And when I say James Katumba, it's not just me, everybody else.
Yes.
Everyone here needs something, and you can be that person that actually starts solving that problem. Most opportunities are going to lie in being a supplier, being a provider of a service or a product to somebody else that actually has a pain point. Be aware you will start, you will fail. But the key thing is don't give up. The opportunities are there. As a country, we are young. I was recently watching Jack Ma, this Chinese billionaire, founder of Alibaba. And when he was saying he came to Africa and he used to think Africa is so poor, he came here, he realized Africa is a continent of opportunities. And let us believe that Africa is a continent of opportunities, and we will be able to actually raise ourselves out of these problems. You may be in a problem now, but don't give up.
I love those concluding remarks. Don't give up. It's not the end of the road. Opportunity may knock anytime, but remember, opportunity comes to those who are prepared. So as a young lad out there, as a youth out there, are you prepared so that when opportunity strikes, you take full advantage of it? And we hope that the 6 steps mentioned by my guest this morning will be addressed and handled, because it's not all about giving youth money, it is how have you prepared them for the opportunities available. But also, something he did mention is discipline. Discipline. Many youth today have the skills, many youth today have the qualification, but they lack character and discipline. Now, papers will get you anywhere, but it's discipline and character that will keep you there. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, God willing, for God and my country.
This is the